Welcome to Behind the Mirror podcast. I'm Lisa.
Hi, I'm Laura.
Thank you for watching, listening, liking and subscribing. And this week you're stuck with just the
So
two
it's
of
just us, I know, and it's very nice to be back.
Welcome back.
I know.
How was your holiday?
Fab, amazing. But it's nice to be back as well. It's nice to be back in the seat. I quite like a bit of structure to my life as well. So, and it's obviously lovely to be back here again.
Look at our new set.
Yeah. There's so many things that I wanted to talk about, and obviously it's been amazing having so many guests on, but I just feel like sometimes there's just like general hairdressing things that are good to chat about. There's so many things on TikTok, you know, so many controversial opinions about the way people do things in the industry, and I think sometimes it's quite nice just to go over certain things. And by no means am I saying that anybody's right or wrong by discussing them. I'm just giving my opinion on it. So one of the biggest things, so we had a bit of a I'm not going to say a problem, but we had a tricky situation with a client phoned. Now, there seems to be a bit of I'm not going to say a myth, but there's a sort of idea with clients that when they're pregnant, they can't have their hair coloured. Now, I'm not really sure where that's kind of came from. I get, like, if maybe you're high risk pregnancy, then by all means I can understand that, you know, you're cautious of everything. Yeah, absolutely. Now, the NHS they advise that, you know, if you want to be careful, then to minimise getting your colour done in the first sort of trimester, first 12 weeks. There's no real scientific evidence that colouring your hair can harm a fetus. A
sentence you thought you'd never say.
Yeah, there's not. But the NHS advise, you know, if you are wary, then wait until the 12-week mark. Which is, I think, is fair. And I think that's the case for a lot of things as well. Because obviously that's probably, you know, the time of that is when maybe, you know,
I think it's to do with a reaction.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you've been going at the same hairdresser and you've had all your patch tests and you've done another one when you've been pregnant and et cetera, and there's been no problems, I think the problem isn't the hair colour. It's the idea that if you take anaphylaxis or you have a severe reaction, that is probably what they're more worried about, not that it's going to seep into your brain and destroy cells. My the boss, the woman that trained me, she always used to say, like, it'll only damage your baby if you swallow it.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not going to be going in the same, like, with foils on your head or, you know, stuff like that. So I think that's the worry.
About how many people are pregnant, how many people have babies all over the world, and there's not really any scientific evidence of any babies being harmed because of that, right? So, but if you're cautious, then, you know, by all means, you don't have to have it done. The thing is, for me as well, like, obviously, you've had a baby, I've had 2 babies. If hairdressers couldn't be around, and when you're working with colour, you get it on your skin. If it was really dangerous, we wouldn't be able to work when we were pregnant. Do you know when people go, oh yeah, I never thought about that?
Imagine you had a 9-month holiday.
I know.
And then a year.
I know. And then again. So anyway, so we had a lady call the salon and explain that she was pregnant and she knew she couldn't have her colour done. But this is obviously before we could tell her that, you know, you can have it done. But anyway, so she was asking if she could have her tint done, but just not touching the scalp. So I don't know about you, right? So I was like, how can we do our roots but not touch the scalp? Like, that's... So she's got a 6-week root. I mean, I'm good at it. My application's clean now, but there's no... It's impossible.
But when you wash it, it's going to get wet and it's going to touch you anyway.
Yeah, so that was the thing, because then we said, no, we can't do that. That's impossible.
You're telling me that you weren't able to leave an ant's foot of a space between the head and the...
I'm like, I know we're good, but really, come on. And then she phoned back again and asked if we could do our tint in foils so that it wasn't touching the scalp. Now, yeah, we could.
But it's still going to touch it when it gets wet.
But we have to wash that off. How are we getting that off?
That's your look for 9 months, these tin foils?
So you're just like... And for me, that's a bit of a red flag, because I thought, see, if something happens during that lady's pregnancy, you know who's going to be the first to blame?
The hairdresser.
Yeah. So I was just like, no, we're not doing it. And that's probably the one time when I've went, no, actually, you know, I think, you know, you're better safe not to get your colour done. Oh my God, like, seriously, I thought, I've never experienced that in my life, but there you go. But I think the thing is as well, so obviously your hair, although you can get your colour done, your hair changes during pregnancy, and I think that's one of the biggest things to note. So people's hair goes darker.
Yeah.
Because it's all to do with your hormones. So your hormones increase the amount of melanin that your body produces, and then that can create your hair to go darker. Also, your hair goes through different phases. So you've got the 3 cycles, the anagen, catagen and telogen cycle. So the first stage, the anagen stage, is the growth stage. So when you're pregnant, your body gets stuck in this growth stage, and that's why your hair doesn't shed the same. That's why it feels thicker, because it's not coming out the same. And that's where, your hair, the texture will feel differently, because you're not getting rid of the old hair. And then after, obviously, you have the baby, your hormone shifts again. And then that's why you have this postpartum shedding, because you've got all this hair that's then coming out. So there's lots of changes that your body makes when you're pregnant, but it maybe makes you slightly more reactive to things, which is why it's important, obviously, to get your patch test done. But as far as actually coming to harm with, your pregnancy, there's very, very little evidence to prove it. So I just wanted to clear that up.
Busting myths all the time.
We like to bust myths.
It's like the let's not wash your hair on the day of the wedding.
Yeah.
I don't know who started the rumour mill, but this is not a thing.
But as always, if you are cautious, like, I'm not saying, get it, but like, if you're wary, then, you don't have to get it done. But
I read a really good book when I was pregnant, so I was like really anxious about a lot of things. And there's a book called What to Expect When You're Expecting. And she was a doctor. And what happened was, when she fell pregnant, she was like, it was a different shift. I'm a medical professional, and then all of a sudden I'm the client, I'm the patient. So she actually started doing like, well, why can I not do that? Like, you're telling me I'm not allowed to drink alcohol. Why?
Yeah.
And the whole book goes through everything about like myths. Why are you not allowed to eat this? Here's why. And as a doctor, she's broke it down, and then she puts at the end like risk category. If you drink lots of alcohol, that's a problem. Like, if you have half a glass, there's obviously loads of guidance on these things, and we're not giving advice or anything like that. But like, I found it basically, so at one point I was craving tuna when I was pregnant. It was a weird thing. And I went to my midwife appointment, and I was like, I'm so ill, I'm so sick, but all I want to eat is tuna. And she was like, well, just be careful, because you're only allowed, and I think it was like a tin a day. And I was like, wait, what happens if I eat more than a tin a day?
That's true in real life. Like,
but then I was like, I don't know, I've not been measuring it. I've not been keeping account. What do we, what or no? And then like, it goes on in the book to tell you, like, what, because I said to her, like, wait a minute, my BMI could be a different of somebody else that's like, somebody could be much smaller than me. Why is everyone only allowed 1 tin a day?
So this is the thing, right? And it makes sense, because they basically have to treat everyone as standard one size. And also they have to also treat everyone that nobody has common sense either. So it's easier for them to say, just don't eat this when you're pregnant, than, because you will get people that they'll live on it, It's okay, I think, maybe how many people will say to you, oh, I ate that when I was pregnant, and I never realised. I didn't realise that you weren't allowed to eat haggis until after I'd eaten haggis. And it's because of the high levels of vitamin A in it. And it's really, but it's okay if you have one portion on Burns night. But if you had haggis every night for your dinner, then that's where, so I think they just say don't have it, because it's like, they can't put that in the small notes, like, you can have it on the 25th of January. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's
it will not affect your pregnancy if you eat it on Burns night.
So it's just
it's the risk, and then it's when you delve deeper into stuff like don't eat salami, because it's uncooked meat. It's raw meat that's been cured, and the risk isn't that it's the problem. It's if something is wrong with that, it gives you horrendous food poisoning, like seafood. Don't have the seafood, because it's not necessarily that the item of food is an issue in itself. It's the outcome that if something's wrong with it. But
that's that.
Right, I love that.
So the other thing is
fun fact.
I know. So I've got a few fun facts today.
Oh.
So the other thing as well is, I read this quote and I thought it was quite funny, and it says, nobody holds on to anything as tightly as an adult brunette who was a blonde child.
It's me.
How many people do you know that go, my hair was blonde when I was a child, so that means I'm a natural blonde.
But I was like white blonde as a child.
Yours are 6 now.
But that, I was definitely never as dark as that until I had.
But they want to tell everyone. They want to tell everyone I was blonde as a child. What is that?
So was everyone.
I know.
Like, most of society seems to be. Oh, really?
I was born with like jet black hair.
So Hallie was born with jet black hair.
And
now it's lightening as we go on, and it's gone really curly. But see, when she came out and she was held up, and I was like, my God, she's just black hair, this wee fluffy head. And I was like, wow. And it's weird, like when you look at the photos progressing, I don't know when exactly it changed, but it did. Like now it's this big curly.
And that's the thing, like, I mean, I don't really know the science of it. I don't know why babies are born with certain types of hair and then it can change dramatically. And I did look into, because there's a kind of, I mean, even I'm terrible myself for saying, oh, your body changes every 7 years, right? Apparently that's not actually true. There is something in it, right? And I'm not 100% sure. But as far as your hair goes, so, you know, you have like blonde children and then they do get to an age, maybe about 2, 3, and it changes. And then about 7 or 8 and it changes again. It either can go darker or it can go thicker. So basically, and then you get babies obviously that are born with dark hair, and it just, for the babies with the lighter hair, obviously sort of European descent, their hair tends to go darker because they're not born with now I'm going to say this right, eumelanin. So their body doesn't produce very much, and it's just a case of, as they get older, their body produces more, which in turn then makes their hair darker. Eumelanin, the melanin in your hair is the pigment in your hair. So that's why their hair gets darker. So that's why you have blonde children who end up brunette adults. That's basically what it comes. I know. So
my wee niece, she did the opposite. Her hair was really dark, and then when it grew, there was a very visual band. Like, yeah, but like, I mean, you're talking base 7 to base 10. Yeah. It was like, what? Yeah. And I just cut it off. It was like, right, her ponytail would be sticking out like the wrong colour. But Hallie's, it's weird because you would think that the bottom of Hallie's hair would be this tip of jet black, and her hair never fell out. But it's just not there anymore. It just optically changed itself. Like, it's just funny. Yeah, so if ever I was to cut her first curl, she would be like, that baby's not me, because it's got, black hair. So you know
how you see children and they've got like blonde on the ends because a lot of the time their hair has been lighter and then it started darkening as the years go by, and they get this lovely like sun-kissed balayage.
Yep.
Do you know that's what the balayage was first kind of inspired on children's hair?
Yep.
Because it's that soft sun-kissed look.
Love it.
And obviously now it's progressed completely. But
now we've got boards and foils and there's like controversy between how should you do a balayage.
And that was kind of where it was first inspired by, which is pretty cool.
I know, because like you do get them.
Well, it shows you how minimal it was as well, because now a lot of people, it's basically a full head of foils or root smudge and they call it a balayage. Do you know what I mean? It's about dimension, honey. Do you know what I mean?
I know. And then there are like so many people with opinions on the board, because I saw a thing the other day that said like, are you still using a board to do your balayage with?
No.
And then it was like, bin the board, you're not 5.
I know.
You're not playing colouring in.
I know.
And
some people, I know. Some people think you should use foil and some people think you shouldn't.
It doesn't matter. If you're getting the result you want to get, and that's the way you've developed it to work for you, why is it a problem?
I know.
Honestly,
because people just love to criticise in this industry, but I don't do it that way. But that doesn't mean it's not right. That's how they do it, and their client's happy. So what does it matter?
Yeah.
But that's that. So so going back to the blonde children thing. So what you sometimes find is if people have been blonde as a child, as you know, although their hair darkens, it still stays a very sort of level 8 brunette. To them, their hair's brown. Yeah. But it's not.
Dirty blonde.
We know it's not. Yeah. So there's so many people automatically nowadays, I'm not sure why, just go when they go to light and it automatically go for bleach. And I feel like high lift tint has got forgotten about.
That's because sometimes it comes up so warm. I think
shouldn't if
back
it's done
in the day, I know there's so much better products now.
Yeah.
But I think people still have this hang up with it because back in the day,
it's going to go gold.
High lift tint was gold, honey.
Yeah.
Like orange, but nowadays there's so many, like even Goldwell's blonding cream, like you can add that into things to lift it up a level. Like there's definitely better products, but even like, I'll admit I've got quite a lot of high lift tints in the salon, but they give me a wee bit of the fear occasionally when I'm maybe taking on a new client. I don't know how their hair is going to go. It is like,
see if you know your colour and you understand what you're doing with your client. So if you've got a client that's got a level like a base 8 root and they just want highlights, soft, like, light highlights. And if you're looking for it white, you're never going to get white with high lift. And I think that's the biggest thing. But if they just want a nice creamy blonde, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to use high lift because you're only taking them 2 levels.
As long as their hair's not got box tie or something on it, I think we should put a
natural.
disclosure out. I think that's where my fear comes. Like
natural.
People sort of maybe neglect to mention what's previously been on their hair and things like that, and therefore when they come in and you think it's a natural hairdo, and actually it's not. Yeah.
And then I seen this post as well, and somebody had said, "Oh, high lift is actually more damaging than what bleach is because you mix it with 40 volume." It's not the peroxide.
That was a big sigh.
It's not the peroxide. Yeah, okay, it's 40 volume, but it's not the peroxide that's causing the damage. It's the way that the product works. So bleach and high lift work completely differently. And the thing is, I mean, they both, if used, they're both used differently, but bleach can cause more damage in one go. Because we were always taught that it processes for 45 minutes to an hour, and then after that, bleach stops working.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't, right? It doesn't. So if bleach will
let's
keep working.
break that rumour mill down right now. Like, if anyone's still thinking that's nothing.
It's not true.
You leave it on 24 hours, you'll be bald.
We used to have to rinse it and then re-bleach it again. Like, but this was back in the days when we done cap highlights. We were told to rinse it.
Oh my gosh,
after.
really?
Yeah, if it's not lifted anymore, I think the reaction slows down, but it does still working. But we used to have to rinse it and then put the bleach back on again.
Was their hair not like...
These are people that their hair was very dark. And cap highlights, you could rinse and leave the cap on and then just
remember how agony though they were.
Yeah. Remember,
it was trying to dissect your brain in a surgery. That was horrendous.
I know.
God, we get rid of that.
I know.
Although there's still some places offering that.
See, for short hair, quick. Although you have to watch you don't get the bird dropping. See if you pull it through and it was too short at the back. But anyway, so
the bird dropping.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Is that what it's officially?
You've never
known
seen a short haircut?
Yeah, I've seen them, and it's
all
like dots. It's horrific.
Looks like
I don't even own a cap. I don't do them on anybody ever. Never, not ever. I've had people request. No, I've had two that were very much like, this is the best hair I've ever had. Was this cap? But I find this really interesting, the psychology of hair, because then you'll see the photo.
Yeah.
And they're on a beach and they're 20 years younger and they're 3 stone lighter and they're having the time of their life, and you're like, I don't think you're chasing the capped highlights.
I was going to say it's the age. You want to be that age again.
I do it. Like, there's a hairdo that I'd done myself, and I swear it's the best hair I've ever had. It's not. It's because I've got cheekbones. Like, nothing to do with what my hair colour looks like. It's me in that image. I think I love that photo of myself, but I'm 20 years younger.
It's everything. I know.
And I'm sitting in a beer garden.
That's why as well, when you do the same, and then they're like, but it's still not the same. It's not the same because it's a different face. I know. So yeah, and then so high lift works differently. So high lift lifts and deposits at the same time, but it works for so long and then it stops.
Yep.
So there's less likelihood for you to have damage done if you keep doing that. Obviously through time that damage can occur, but it's not the same in what bleach can damage your hair in one go.
Yep.
It would be consecutively, and if you'd have to watch it overlapping and all these things. So I just think high lift is something that, I mean, you don't have to tone your highlights. See, if you do highlights with a high lift tint, you don't have to tone it. Like, the result can be stunning.
It's one of these things as well. Like have you ever had a client go like, oh, this has been on my head quite a while, and you're maybe running 5-10 minutes behind, and you're like, no, but you're fit because it won't go any darker than what I've told it to go. Like, it will have stopped. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
In your head, you're like, but that bleach needs off.
I know, yeah. Priorities.
I
seen a post the other day, actually, and it was a client had wrote, I just had my hair done in a salon, and I don't think she was happy with her colour anyway, right? So, but one of the things that she wrote in it was, my foils were on for an hour and 15 minutes or something like that, and it was like 75 minutes. Is this normal? And everyone was like, oh my God, how have you got any hair left?
Yeah, but it was a low light.
But then I thought, well, she maybe was lifting it slow, like low. Do you know what I mean? So I thought people always just jumped to, oh my God, it must have been 40 volume. It was on for an hour and 15 minutes. I thought,
and she came out like a Cynthia doll at the end of it.
To sleep before.
I know.
Funny.
Our industry is so bad for that. But then that's why we're here.
Yes.
Busting some myths.
Yeah. So I brought something. I'm not sure how it's going to work with the audio side of it, but we'll give it a go. I'll describe it. So
it's bubble wrap for anyone that's
you can do the So look at this. Have you seen one of these before?
No.
Do you know what it is?
It looks like an electric cattle rod for anyone that's not looking. It's metal and it's got like red bits coming off of it.
So this is a vintage hair tongue.
Stop.
This is how they used to curl hair. So what they used to do was they used to sit it on the stove. This was the only way they could curl hair. Before you had electricity and electric tongs, they'd set it on the stove.
It looks so
until
intimidating.
It was red hot.
Oh, jeez.
And then they would take it off. And then, do you know they used to test it on toilet paper? So if it burnt the toilet paper, it wasn't ready for your hair yet. So you had to wait another bit, test it. Yep. And then if it never burnt the toilet roll, then you could use it on your hair. And that was how they used to curl their hair. But you'll notice, see, when you look back in pictures from, so this is like round about like the 30s. So see, when you look back in photos, the curl never starts at the root because it was
no wonder.
Because they couldn't put it too close to the
That's
scalp.
like that woman that says, could you do my roots without touching the scalp? You touch the scalp with that thing and it's going to rip the skin off of your head.
So this is a real, I got this one vintage.
I was just about to say, why do you have this? Like,
I bought it on vintage.
Laura's doing a special in her salon. If you want to feel back in the Victorian era, please.
I think it's very interesting, and I think it's good to be humbled by how lucky we are now. Because think about it, you just plug in your tongs and, you know, away you go.
I genuinely thought you were going to be doing some April Fool to me.
But it's amazing though, because I don't know how you would even use this in a salon setting, because you need a stove.
Stove? A lighter?
I'm not sure, but there you go. So that's
well, we can maybe have a barbecue in the summer. And
not that long ago, really, when you think about it. Do you know?
Yeah. Is it heavy?
So, it weighs a ton. And it feels really wobbly, but that might just be because of the age of it. But
much did you pay for that?
Anything fibre. I love anything to do
if anyone,
with history.
See, when we talk about, like, you know, buy cheap, buy twice, like, if anyone is looking for a cheap tool, this vintage one has stood the time. You know, you can't say you're not getting value for money, because that thing is forever old. But, you know, instead of going down the route of your Dyson, your DHD, Diva, you know, your reputable brands, why don't you just fry your hair alive?
It costs electricity nowadays.
Do not try this at home, hashtag. Like,
I know. So there you go. But I just think, we don't know how lucky we are. Also, as well, so I was talking to my mum about, just basic things. Mum said she never had a hairdryer when they were growing up. Now, my mum isn't that old, right? And she said that's what, so you know the phrase, like, you know, it used to be like, oh, I can't come tonight, I'm washing my hair.
Oh, right, yeah.
It comes from that, because when they washed their hair, they had to literally sit in front of the fire, or, you know, for it to dry. And it took all night if your hair was thick. And that's why people used to say, I can't, I'm washing my hair. Whereas now people just use that excuse.
As a sarcastic thing.
Yeah.
Of like, I don't want to do what you've asked me to do.
But I mean, when you think again, even that, so that was maybe like in the sort of 60s. It's not that long ago that we never had a hairdryer, which is obviously why everyone had their hair permed and set for like, you know, and it lasted them all week. Whereas now, you just couldn't imagine not having a hairdryer or having in a salon, hairdryer, tongs, straighteners,
I've got like one of everything. Like, I've got two of everything. Like, I have to have it if it comes out. I'm like, that, let me try.
Yeah.
The oldest I can go back for myself is I had a Babyliss hair straightener in air quotes here and crimper.
I bought them as well, and I never brought them.
Oh,
I know.
Because you had to wait on the thick metal to physically heat from this thing. So you would have to put it on about 2 hours before you wanted to do your hair, and then you would have to hold it on each bit forever.
No, because it doesn't even go that hot.
And then by the end of your hairdo, this bit's really crimped, and the bit that you started with wasn't that hot.
So you need to go back over it.
So it's like, oh my goodness, remember the noise it would make?
No, so that's not the ones I bought. I bought the ones
with the
that
water.
you had to fill up with water. Yeah. So I thought I had them with me today, but I'll bring them another one. But I love to see
spend
how
money on
far,
rubbish.
I think it's important to see how far like things have come in the industry as well. I think we should be really grateful how easy it is to be able to do these things.
Imagine being an apprentice and they're like, can you go and curl the hair? There's these.
I know.
Like, and you know, the client sneezes and that's them, their ears come off.
But the thing is, they didn't even have like lotions and potions to protect their hair from these things. It was just like straight on.
A lot of they had toilet paper.
They used to use some sort of they made a kind of potion basically out of something, I think, as like a setting thing before they put it in the hair. But they didn't have like,
and rice water. That was always a thing. Wash your hair in rice water. That's why a lot of products now have incorporated rice water into their products.
Yeah. So the other thing that happened to us in the salon as well, I don't know, there's something in the water actually.
It was because you were away.
I know.
While the boss is away,
I know.
The clients will play.
So one of the girls had a child's cut-in and came in with the dad, and it was only halfway through the haircut that Brandon noticed that the dad was filming Julie while she was doing the haircut. And I was like, that's weird. But like, not so, say if she was sitting here cutting it, the guy was sitting like quite far away.
Oh, right.
So
first haircut?
No.
Right.
So I don't really understand why. And I thought, I know it's a public place and I know that you're free to film and take photos as you like, but I just felt like I don't know, it just felt like a wee bit overstepping the mark. Like, why? Like, what was he filming? Like, was he filming just Julie? Was he filming the haircut? Like, don't know, it just felt weird. And Brandon said they had a bit of a weird kind of vibe about them as well. So
I've had like mums come in for their child's
understand
first
that,
haircut,
yeah.
and they maybe take, not video the whole haircut, I'm not there to do a tutorial,
No.
but like they take pictures, videos and whatever. Like I've definitely had photos of me sent mid haircut where, you know, like you get 7 chins and you're not looking your swellest, and that's in the photo book.
I feel like there maybe should have been like something said, like, do you mind if, because I felt like for Julie, like, I don't know that I would want to be filmed without being told. I don't know.
I think we live in such an age where like maybe he's
public,
a content creator or something, and then it's just the
wasn't.
norm that people just video everything all the time, constantly.
I know, maybe,
like you're wondering about your day-to-day life and how many videos are you in the background of.
I think, see, if he was up close, like if he was standing and it was very obvious, but it felt like he was kind of doing it like through the bushes. Do you know? It just felt weird. It felt sneaky. I don't know. But anyway, so they were booked back in again for like their other daughter, and I just said, Brandon, just say to them, if you, because I think it was him that was doing it. He's like, I don't really want them to film me, and I was like, just say to them when they come in. But he knew it was a mum that came, and she never filmed. So, but I was like, don't be afraid to say that you're not happy, you're not comfortable with it. Just because you're allowed to, you're still, if you're in it, you're still allowed to say if you would rather not, and it's obviously in the salon. So
it's not part of the terms and conditions of getting a haircut.
No, because we wouldn't film somebody without asking for their consent either. So
no.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a weird one. So
it's not as good as the toilet story from your salon.
The toilet story, oh my God, I know if anybody missed that one, that was a cracker. What episode was that on? It was back in first season.
It's actually called. Yeah. It's called Pranks, Poo and Parties.
You have to listen to that because that was,
that was out there.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. So the other thing as well is I want to talk about, so there seems to be a bit of a misconception over shampoo and conditioner, and people struggle to buy the right ones and how to choose the right ones for your hair, because let's face it, there's so many.
Oh, millions.
It's such an oversaturated market and everyone claims to be the best. So I thought we'd try and maybe break it down a little bit to make it simpler. So going back to, I know like I keep banging on about this, the scalp care, and it's so important because essentially that's what your shampoo is for. It's for your scalp.
And you got the camera, didn't you?
Yeah. Yes, I will talk about that in a minute. So basically your shampoo is for your scalp.
You're washing it. So it's like your body wash for your body.
We'll make things very, very simple. So your shampoo is for your scalp. So you pick your shampoo based on what kind of scalp you've got.
Yep.
So if you've got an oily scalp, if you've got a dry scalp, if you've got a normal scalp, use a normal shampoo. So you pick your conditioner for the hair that you want. So you buy your shampoo for the scalp you have, and you buy the conditioner for the hair you want. So these don't have to be matching. You can buy a shampoo from one range and a conditioner from another if they both meet different needs. So your conditioner, if you want more shine in your hair, if you need to repair it, if you get your hair lightened, if you find you want more body in your hair, this is what you pick your conditioner based on. So, and they don't...
But I think when you say, let's clarify, because when you say what you want, a lot of the ranges are called things like dry. Like, nobody's going to want dry. So if you want shiny hair, so it's like the opposite, yeah. So like if you want like nourished hair, then you would buy the conditioner for dry hair, because otherwise people might be like that.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
It's like the kind of opposite.
For more, okay. So, so basically that's where your hair comes into play, is when you're buying your conditioners and your masks and all your end product serums and things. Your shampoo should be based on your scalp and what kind of scalp you have. And I just wanted to kind of clear that up, because it is a sort of, I don't know, people sort of feel like they have to have matching shampoo and conditioner, and probably the only reason I would is because it looks prettier in your bathroom.
No, but also there's always deals.
Yeah.
Like you tend to find things are sets.
Yeah.
And that's complicating for clients. And it's hard enough, I get asked all the time, like, what do you recommend?
Yeah.
And a lot of it comes down to things like, what's your budget? Mm-hmm. Because let's be honest, us as professionals, there's things that we use that the average person will never spend that.
Yeah.
Like, and that's okay. There's also things that I love that are actually high street products.
Yeah.
Like, there's such an array of things that I think, God, they have not marketed. They could be charging 5 times that.
Yeah.
And there's things that I've tried that were an absolute fortune that I think, wouldn't buy that again. That wasn't very great. But like, it's so confusing, isn't it? And if your stylist doesn't know, like K18, such an amazing brand, huge, massive, but there's so many products in it. It could be really overwhelming for a client to be like, right, my hair's damaged, where do I start?
Yeah.
And I think that's where the knowledge becomes power.
And I think like sticking with the one brand, I think they all complement each other, certainly. Like I would agree with that. So if you're using the K18, then use the shampoo and the conditioner and everything alongside it. I'm not saying it's going to do any harm, but you're not restricted to only doing that. Because so many people have oily scalps, but they have their hair lightened, so they've got really dry ends. So it wouldn't make sense then to buy a shampoo for oily hair, but then the conditioner maybe doesn't match you. So you're allowed to buy a conditioner from a different brand, or even in the same range but a different kind. Like, you just have to go with what suits you.
Becomes even more complicated when you've got extensions, because then you've got to try and find something that suits them, which is not your hair.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Exactly. And also as well, that's worth noting, if you've got extensions, you just have to be very careful because the protein will damage your hair.
So did you watch the thing with Louis through on the Manosphere?
No, I've not actually, but I've heard all about it.
Wow.
I've not watched it yet.
Do you know, it's like, so at one point, I just want to reference a little bit of it because it's so relevant to us. At one point, the guy who's a millionaire stands on top of the balcony thing and he says, like, I mean, can you name me a single thing that a woman has built here? I mean,
I did see this.
Outside the obvious, you absolute tool. Like, a woman made you, just to let you know. Obviously, then loads of people have come out and said, well, what about this, what about this, what about this?
I've seen a reel and it was all the women, like, through history.
Marie Curie, radiation, and it's like, it's actually a brilliant watch. Like, it's so horrifying that this is a thing.
So for people that haven't watched it, so what is the general sort of, what's their viewpoint, the people in this
red pill thing, where basically we should go back to an era where women wash and change and look after the children and men provide for the women.
Right.
And that's kind of the concept. Now, loads of people do live like that. They appreciate traditional style of living. But this is more than that. This is like, it wants one-sided monogamy. So you stay faithful to me, but I can do whatever I want. Now, let's face it, lots of men think like that anyway, I think, unofficially, without actually, at least these guys have got the bollocks to say it to their other half. But I think like the whole thing just feels so out of balance. But see the women's faces when they were doing these documentaries, it was almost like they weren't privy to this conversation. Like, one-sided monogamy. Are you not faithful to me?
Oh, right, so they're in partnerships. They're
married with children.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, well, she's monogamous to me. And you're looking at them thinking, I don't know why. What makes you think you're God's gift? It's just horrifying.
I think that's the thing. They think that they are more important. They feel like they're on a pedestal below what
it's like an
are.
Ego cult. For men only. That's like what has developed into this. Like I say, there's people that live traditionally. Fine, and no problem, but I don't think at any point.
Yeah, and they're both quite happy with that.
At no point is the guy coming out sort of like, there's so many bits to it. But like, one of the guys turns around so he's a podcaster, and on the podcast show it's like all chest, all arms, like nah. And then when Louis Theroux's interviewing him with his partner, he's like, stood there kind of twitchy, and it's just like a completely different demeanour. It's like you're portraying yourself as something fake. And then he says to the woman something like, Louis says, your husband to be saying that he probably might want future wives as well. And she's like, what? Wow. Well, he's mentioned it. I didn't think it was like a thing. And then she's left him now, that guy.
No wonder.
And then he also turns around to her and says like, right, go and clean my bedroom. I mean, if someone was to say to me in that manner, go and clean my bedroom, I'm not your mum, as if I don't have enough on my plate.
I know.
It should be like...
But I just think there's a way of speaking to people as well, and to speak to anybody like that is just...
Well, for like women empowering women.
I know.
And like that, it felt...
You need to stand up for yourself though, at that
some of these women, like one of them, for example, he's like the manager of an OnlyFans company, but agency type thing. And he's openly sitting with these women, telling them how disgusting he thinks it is and whatever. And they're all on OnlyFans and they're all laughing. And you're like, oh, I just want to give you a hug and tell you, like, please, could you have some confidence in yourself to say to this man, like, what, you're degrading me.
I think it's really sad if people are in a position, where
they want to be his pal so bad that they're willing to accept him abusing them. Like, yeah, it's a really good watch for anyone that's looking for something. I mean, like, I watched it with my nana, and it was certainly a challenging watch at some points.
I know.
But yeah, it's just crazy. The world is going a wee bit mental just now, and I think for anyone looking for a wee thing,
it's a good watch.
Right, let's end the week with a Laura fun fact.
So you know how you have one client that's got fine hair but has a lot of it?
Yeah.
And then you have another client who's got thick hair.
Yeah.
But they don't have to wash their hair as much as the fine hair person. It's to do with the amount of follicles on your head. Oh. So somebody that's got fine hair that has a lot of fine hair can have something like 150,000 hair follicles. And then the person with thick hair, it's obviously denser, only has 80,000 hair follicles.
Is this because of your camera? Have you gone and bought one? Obviously, you've bought one of these like scalp cameras. Yeah. Is this what you're learning?
Yeah.
Through that?
Yeah. So, but the thing is, the more hair follicles that you've got, so if I've got 150,000 hair follicles, right? But that also means I've got 150,000 sebaceous glands. So that's why somebody that has a lot of fine hair gets greasier than somebody that's got dense, thick hair, because they probably have less hair follicles.
How is the camera just before we finish up?
So I'm still learning about it.
We're looking forward to our episode with Bridget.
Yes, I'm actually, I've signed up to do a trichology course because it does fascinate me. I think it's really interesting. It's all right having the machine, but you need to be able to read what the results are. So I'm still working on it, but yes, so that'll be my next.
Wonder if we could show Bridget it, like your one that you've got, and like good. Ask her opinion on, because obviously hers will be worth tens of thousands of pounds. And be like, listen, 85 quid. See this wee Amazon number? Yeah. What's it? What's up to?
But yeah, it's definitely sparked something in me that I want to take a wee bit further. So I've signed up to do a course. I've been accepted to do the course.
Oh, I want to come. So, why do you not share that?
Well, you need to pay like £2,500.
Okay, I'm buying a house. That's not happening. So that's not happening this week.
That's my next venture. But yeah,
love it. Exciting.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you for watching, listening, liking and subscribing. Obviously, as we grow, we really appreciate all comments left on our posts, all shares, tell your friends.
Just tell everybody.
Two Glasgow girls that kind of we've fallen into this, but we love it, and we hope you love our content as much as we love filming it. See you next week.
Thank you. Bye.